Looking for better loads and bigger profits? Right now, you can save 20% off Truck Stop Load Board Pro for 6 months. The best tool for serious carriers. Don't miss out. Click the link in the description to get 20% off Load Board Pro for 6 months. Need capital to grow your business or cover unexpected expenses? Rock Financial has your back. Whether you're looking for a flexible line of credit, a fast cash advance, or tailored working capital solutions, Rock Financial makes it simple to get funded, often in as little as 24 hours. No hidden fees, an easy application, and real support from people who know the business. Ready to take your hustle to the next level? Tap the link in the description to get started with Rock Financial today. Wish insurance was this easy? With Log Rock, it's like magic. Real coverage appears when you need it. No tricks. Get covered now. Click the link in the description.
Warning: the following content contains strong language and may not be suitable for children. This content is primarily for adults, as this is a trucking channel and truckers have filthy mouths. Please don't tweak if I say. Viewer discretion is advised.
What's up? Good afternoon. Come on in. Make sure you guys hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, turn on all post notifications. How's everybody doing this afternoon? Thursday. What is this? What is today? Thursday, June 12th. How's everybody doing? Come on in. Shout out to SD Walk in the building. Shout out to Rich representing the crib in the building. Shout out to Jay Stokes. Slater says, yo, Mark, love what you do. I've been looking into becoming a member of the channel. However, the option isn't there for me on mobile or desktop. Is there an age restriction or something? I think if you got an Apple, it doesn't pop up on mobile. The option to join only pops up for mobile, I believe, on Android devices. But from a desktop, you can join from either a Mac or a PC. Either a Mac or a PC. I know when I'm logged out, I see it pop up for me. I see it pop up for me when I'm logged out. So from a Mac perspective, from a desktop, you can sign up. So desktop, either or, mobile, It has to be an Android device, if I'm not mistaken. Shout out to Craig. What's going on? Shout out to Pippi. Shout out to all the moderators. Shout out to Edie. Shout out to Tia, representing Fort Wayne. All right, we're gonna try something new. I think we're gonna be able to do a lot of these. I'm calling it box truck Reddit reactions. This will be episode 1. I think this is something that I'm gonna do. I think this is a cool concept because I see a lot of good things. I see a lot of funny things. I see a lot of misinformation. So it's gonna be kind of cool to go through some of this stuff and kind of break some of this stuff down from other people's perspectives in some of these different forums. So that's what we're gonna do today. This episode is gonna be sponsored by none other than Log Rock. Make sure you click the link in the description to get your quote from Log Rock today. If you're up for renewal, go ahead and click that link. All right, let's get straight into it without further ado. All right, so boom. For this first episode, I'm just gonna do one thread an episode. All right. I'm just gonna do one thread an episode. All right. So this thread was created about a month ago in the owner operators Reddit forum by Rooted Crypto. Rooted Crypto is looking to become a box truck owner operator soon. He says a lot of discouragement / warnings in here I want to heed. So it looks like he put a screenshot up of, it looks like some Indeed post. Looks like he's out in the New York, New Jersey area. Or maybe he's not. I don't know, because I see New York, I see New Jersey, I see Pennsylvania. So he's over on the East Coast. High quality freight. Looks like they're saying they're going to be they're going to generate an owner operator $6,000 to $8,000 a week. Must currently own, lease, or rent a 26-foot box truck. Must have valid, active, and current insurance. Must own, lease, or rent 26-foot box truck with lift gate. Driver Ready says they're looking for owner operators with a 26-foot box truck. They said on average they kicking out 38 to 4,400 a week. 24 to 26-foot box truck with lift gate. Collapsible hand truck and pallet jack are essential. Access to discounted truck rentals, driver, and helpers are required. So this looks like this is probably some final mile stuff. 38 to 4,400 is about average. Trenton, New Jersey, I don't know. That might be a little low for that area though. Owner operator, cargo van, box truck, Make Trucking LLC. Looks like they're offering, generating up to 3,000 to 5,000. So this looks pretty average. This might be a little inflated, but you get that a lot with these companies that are advertising on Indeed for lease on. But let's see what he put. Let's see what he put in his description. Are these leased under carrier numbers a lie? What can I expect to make? Looking for cold, hard truths. So first of all, this guy's coming into this with a mindset that we don't see a lot of people that are coming into the space come in with. Everybody wants the fluff. This guy is saying he's looking for the cold, hard truths, which is different than what we have seen in this industry in the past couple of years. So I have 6 years experience driving box trucks full time, trying to create a scalable $10,000 to $15,000 plus per month business. A scalable $10,000 to $15,000 plus per month business. Thanks in advance. All right, now let's get into the nitty gritty. Let's start reading the responses. Let's see full discussion. All right, let's look at the first one. All right, Confident Lobster says if you own a box truck, you will need to take in at least $4,000 to $6,000 a week at minimum. Insurance, gas, and cost of truck is just the beginning. If you plan on leasing, there are so many hidden costs you need to be aware of. I agree. Also, do you have a CDL or non-CDL? There are weight limits on these vehicles that the DOT strictly enforces. You will need a DOT med card as well. I wish you the best. Personally, if I was not taking in $20,000 minimum a month, I would not even consider it. Remember, you have to get paid as well as all the costs. That's my opinion. He's right as far as reminding the individual that he has to get paid as well. So basically, what he's saying is the business has to generate enough income to cover the cost of the business. He didn't mention cash flow, but he did mention the business has to generate enough money to cover the cost of the business, and that individual has to get paid as well. I want to read some of the comments from this one's 25 responses to this one. I just want to go through some of them. So this is the response from the guy who made the thread. Non-CDL, I have my DOT med card and will be purchasing a used truck, hopefully around 30K. I have $50,000 saved up, willing to invest and have calculated operating costs to be roughly $4,000 a month with an extra $5,000 miscellaneous. All right, so he says he's looking to purchase a truck for around 30K. He has 50K saved up, which is pretty good, right? That's pretty good. It's not what we normally see. He's not one of those $5,000 guys. And he said he's calculating operating costs to be roughly $4,000 a month. This is where he's losing me at. His operating costs, if he's running OTR, are going to be well over $4,000 a month. Well over $4,000 a month. So, this is the part where he has to do some more research and or learn once he gets out in the field. This estimate is going to be way off. I thought if I lease onto a carrier like this, I can get consistent loads and make a decent sum each month. Am I being unrealistic? Is it possible to lease on a carrier and not get consistent loads? I have no owner operator experience, so don't want to make a costly mistake if these numbers are fluffed up. Is it realistic to net $4,000 to $6,000 a week? I think anybody that is in this industry or have been in this industry knows that this guy, he's on the new, and I like the fact that he does have a lot of working capital, and also like the fact that he came into this looking for the cold hard truths. He doesn't want the fluff. So I'm not going to jump on him because he's in the research phase, but he does have the right mindset. And yes, this is not realistic. He's saying, is it realistic to net $4,000 to $6,000 a week? No, not realistic at all. Not realistic at all. Not realistic at all. All right, let's see what the people respond to this. Let's see if there's some smart guys out there that are going to respond to this. All right, so one more. He said, don't be completely afraid of business, Dad. I've been sitting with 1.5 million of debt before. Not a big deal if there's thought in it. You could also put a chunk down on a truck if you have good credit, and I have fixed costs with warranty to plan around. I think he meant play around. I've done both ways, cash trucks and finance. I can wrench and have my own shop. That changes a lot. My old man runs new and never had issues paying bills. If you're unfamiliar with the lanes and work, it wouldn't be a bad idea to grab a company gig as a driver and get contracts, learn the hard lessons on their dime. I don't know shit all about box trucks, but I worked as a logger and then a logistics manager before buying my own trucks. So this guy says he don't know shit. He said, I'm unfamiliar with the lanes and work. I don't know shit about box truck, but yet he's giving this guy advice about the box truck business. I don't know shit about box trucks, but I worked as a logger and then a logistics manager before buying my own trucks. Plenty of contracts in the industry before going on my own. I've seen a bunch of people. And then he also said he's $1.5 million in debt. Of people do it all different ways, and people can make about anything work. He says people can make about anything work. So listen to the verbiage here. I was just much more comfortable being familiar in this. Like, I don't even know what this comment means. Like, this shit is all over the place. But this is what brings confusion, because a lot of new people come into the space and they just don't come to YouTube. They just don't go to Instagram. They just don't go to TikTok. They go Reddit. They go to other little smaller different forms, and then they're getting fed and they're consuming so much different shit. Like this comment is all over the place. I don't even let me see what he responded to that. Let me see. I want to see. Thank you for your comment, my brother. May I ask what kind of trucks you run? How many? What are you netting monthly? Am I completely off about the 4 to 5 thousand per month in expenses? I'm completely unfamiliar. My expenses are going to be huge compared to yours. I run a couple of log trucks and a couple of long haul step decks. All right, so this guy's a semi truck guy. We don't need to be reading that. See, he shouldn't even be talking to this guy. He clearly doesn't know what the hell he's talking about. He's $1.5 million in debt. He's telling him it's no big deal. All right, let's see what Confident Lobster has to say. I would be skeptical about anything on Indeed. You need to vet them rigorously. rigorously. A $30,000 truck might be on its last leg. A $30,000 truck might be on its last leg. Where is this guy getting $30,000 trucks from? A nice 26 foot. He put a nice 26 foot new is probably 80,000 or more. So basically, he's telling him that a $30,000 truck is a piece of shit, which is totally false. There's people out there that buy trucks that are under $30,000 and fare out well. There's people out there I've seen that have bought trucks, 26 footers, for under $20,000 and fared out well. And I'm speaking in today's time. I'm not speaking when I was building my fleet 12, 13 years ago. I'm speaking in today's time. I know people in my Discord that are running. I know a guy has 4 trucks between '04 and '08, and he has no issues. He says the best advice I gave him was to start with the more seasoned truck, and he's been able to scale aggressively because his operational costs are low, and he's been able to compete in this market with the current race and the current competition and the oversaturation of supply. So he's saying a $30,000 truck is a piece of shit. He's recommending this guy go out and buy a new truck for $80,000 or more. All right, so let's read the responses to this. The guy who started this thread says, appreciate your advice. I'm not lying to anyone. I run in NYC 5 days a week. The truck costs me $16,000 a month. You do the math. I spend 12 hours a day in my truck. If I'm lucky and beat traffic, I can do it in 10 hours. Replacement Nation is responding to the guy who said a $30,000 truck is a piece of shit. You should get a 26 footer for $80,000 brand new. He said, bro, he's lying to you. Don't believe him. Some people don't want others in the industry because they fear freight being taken. You can get a box truck off Facebook Marketplace for $10K and put like $5K in it, and it will run for a year or more. You can also net an average of $2,500 per week. Watch Big Vic and Mark the Mentor. Shout out to Replacement Nation for the name drop. Appreciate that. Appreciate that. Let's see the response to that. Let's see the response to that. He put LOL. He's laughing at the guy because the guy said the guy is lying to him. All right, let's go back to the discussion and see. I hate that with Reddit, you gotta keep refreshing it. So that was this. So this guy basically told him to go out and buy a new truck. The guy told him this guy is finessing him. You don't go out and buy a new truck. He's telling him to go on Facebook Marketplace, get something more affordable, and then he told him to watch Big Vic and myself. Fat Till 99 says there is no way you will be netting that much and only have $4,000 a month in expenses. I agree with him. All right, I agree with him because if you think about what he's saying, he's asking is netting $4,000 to $6,000 a week likely. So either this guy doesn't know the difference between gross and net based off what he's looking at here, and clearly his math is off if he's thinking he's going to gross that much a week or net that much a week and only have an operational cost of $4,000 a month. Let's look at the replies for that one. Okay, he said, I had a feeling that was off. What's a better idea of net income in this situation? Willing to be OTR. So what I'm seeing about this guy, he's willing to take harsh criticism. He's looking for the cold hard truth, and he's looking to learn. He's he's not an individual who is going to or looking for fluff and going to take fluff and run with it with this just bright-eyed, bushy-tailed, optimistic view. He has some sense to realize that what he's probably seeing in other pieces of content is not all the way realistic. He wants the cold hard truth. Fat Pill says your weekly expenses should be 2K to 2.5, so 2,000 to 2,500 a week. Business is very slow right now. This thread was put up about a month ago. Business is very slow right now, especially with the amount of people getting into box trucks. I estimate around 3.5, 3,500 to $4,000 gross revenue. Unless you sign up with a super crazy company, expedited, dedicated lanes, you won't be getting that money being promised, which is usually a lie. I agree with Fat Pill. A lot of the stuff that you see on Deed, those gross numbers are exaggerated. If you remember that 28-year-old that came up last year, he wanted to build a whole business model uh, running for these people leased on and just leaving his business in their hands. And he thought he was going to be grossing $8,000 a week. And I told him that that was just not likely. You know, I've done multiple polls, and the average person that's running OTR in a box truck averages $3,000, $3,500 a week. All right. So even this person right here is saying the same thing. All right. Let's read what the comments for this particular one says. Thank you for the advice. That's much appreciated. So basically, I'd be netting 1,500 a week if I'm lucky, and I'm currently making that as a driver. Remember, he works for a company now. He drives a box truck for a company. He's making that weekly right now as a company driver. Gathering information, but I'm not sure if it's lucrative as I thought before. I'm super late to the game. I don't think you're super late. I just think you have. I don't think you really understand what the industry entails as far as the margins are concerned. I don't think you're late. I think for an individual, based on what I'm reading, I think this now is a better time for this individual, based on what I'm reading, to get in, let's say, to the pandemic. When he's saying he's super late, he's referring that back to the pandemic when the rates were sky high. But with the mindset that he has coming in, based on I'm thinking the research that he's done from probably pandemic shit, it's probably better that he comes in now than before, because he would have been one of those guys that got caught left holding the bag once the tide started to turn and the market started to correct itself. This guy says he's responding. He said, I bought a dump truck with cash in 2021. So another pandemic, baby. Came in super late to the game as well. There was no point in working with brokers because my seniority was so low. I was only working a couple of days a week. I started reaching out to local small companies, and now I run my business without relying on brokers. I wish I was a little busier, but at least there isn't a middleman sucking all my profit. To be honest, I imagine the box truck game probably works the same. He says, yeah, good shout. Seems like the only chance left in this market is to find a niche and direct contracts within that. See what I can do. Thank you for the advice, man. I think that there's opportunity on the spot market if you know what your cost is and you run lean. Obviously, if you do find a niche, obviously, yes, there's way better opportunity to make more money. And obviously, if you have a direct contract, even better. Takes away the guessing, right? So he's right on that aspect, but there's opportunity to make money in the spot market as well. I just think a lot of a lot of people that are coming in on the new, they really don't understand that the margins in this business are very, very small. And, because the margins are very, very small, that's what hurts and kills a lot of people that come into this business very, 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 very naive, especially in today's economy and just the way the industry is now. A lot different from when I came in back in the day. The margins are so tight now, like that margin of error is very small, and this is why so many people get wiped out so quickly, especially if you don't have a nice bag of money to play with to help you kind of counter and get around that learning curve. The learning curve is expensive. It's not cheap and it's not free. A lot of people think the learning curve is free. It's not. So that's why when people say, "Oh, $5,000," how? How? The learning curve costs you, right? So the difference with this guy is he has $50,000 to play with, right? So, all right, let's go back up. See what else is in this thread. Let's go back to these 25 because there's some really good responses in here. I think I read that one. All right. If you don't have any contacts to give your business directly and rely on load boards, that truck will sink you. You'll be in 100,000 with 50K on credit card and basically paying to drive. Don't get into transportation as an owner operator unless you have a niche and clients who are going to give you business day one. So I agree and I disagree. It's always good to have guaranteed work, right? It's always good to have guaranteed work, but that is not always the option for everyone. I think there is opportunity on the spot market, but the reason why so many new entrants fail on the spot market is because of the ignorance that they come in with, being naive and not having enough working capital, and that working capital is that tool that helps prolong them while they learn the spot market. They learn how to book loads. They're building relationship, so on and so forth. Right. So I agree in some aspects, but then again, I disagree because there are people that survive off the load board. There's people that survive off the load board, but those are the people that run lean. They know their operational costs. They know the margins are small, and they run very, 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 very lean. All right. So I, kind of agree, but then I disagree. He said, "Thank you for the advice. Definitely a novice, so it's much appreciated. Was thinking about testing it with a rental, but still gathering info. There's no more responses." Let's go to the next feed. It's shitty business. Word no matter. Man, these people's grammar is crazy, but it's hard reading like this shit, bro. It's shitty business where no matter how well and honest you are, they will find someone cheaper. There is no loyalty. They always ask for cheaper rates. Did it for 3 years. 26-foot box truck in California. Got out in January 2025 and will never go back. Insurance is high. Fuel is high. Maintenance is high. To only get paid $1.50 a mile. You're hauling high value freight, 200, 300,000. Where all the responsibility is on you for a measly rate, high risk, low reward. On top of that, there were times where pallets were damaged or scuffed, and they will try and file on your insurance. Take pictures. Fuck this business and fuck brokers. This guy stick 'em up 1980. I'm assuming 1980 was the year he's born. I was born in 1980. I'm assuming 1980 was the year he's born. He's one of those bitter guys. Obviously, it didn't work out for him, right? He's in California. I think that may be why. All right. I'm not going to go into details, but starting a trucking company with Mr. Gavin Newsom and the regulations that are required for trucking out in California are way higher than any other state, right? So that probably accounted for why, his operational cost was probably high, and also probably accounted to probably why he said bring Mike closer to why he failed. All right. So let's go through this because this is a pretty good one. It's a shitty business. I disagree. I think it's a great business. I think you get out of it what you put into it, right? You got to know what you're doing. You have to know, like, we're in a time now where the margins are very, 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 very tight. And this is why I tell people to have working capital, and you guys see it, I get met with a lot of ignorance, right? No, you don't. No, you don't. And these are the people that ultimately fail. And then they get mad when I say you're going to fail. But this is why. You're going to be bitter like this guy. He's just blaming everybody except himself. There is no loyalty. There isn't any loyalty. I say this all the time. Like, ain't no loyalty in business. You think McDonald's and Burger King are friends? Of course not. You think Elon Musk is in the White House for humanity? No, he's there for business reasons. It's leverage. And the moment him and Trump had that little spat a week or two ago, what happened? He threw him under the bus. Loyalty went out the window, didn't it? Ain't no loyalty in business. You're booking loads. You're on a load board. You're not the only person that's calling the broker for a load. So ain't no, like, where do you expect there to be loyalty? They always ask for cheaper rates. Did it for 3 years. 26-foot box truck in California. Got out. He's in California. Think about this. He's in California. Look up the requirements to start a trucking business in California with Mr. Gavin Newsom. Just look it up. I'm not going to go through it. We've covered this like a year and a half, 2 years ago when AB5 came into fruition. Go look it up. AB5 just didn't affect the ride share. When they created AB5, they looked at transportation as a whole. All right? He got out in 2025. So he got in during the pandemic. He was a pandemic baby. He got out in 2025. He got out January in 2025. I don't know if he got out before the inauguration or after the inauguration, but we know he got out January of this year. And he's never going to go back. He said insurance is high, fuel is high, maintenance is high. To only get paid $1.50 amount, you get what you negotiate. You should know what you're getting into. This is why I say you should run lean. This is why I always say you should run lean. You're hauling high value freight. Okay? Where all the responsibility is on you for a measly rate, high risk, low reward. On top of that, there were times where pallets were damaged or scuffed and they would try to file on your insurance. Fuck this business, fuck these brokers. Sounds like somebody that got in during the pandemic, was doing pretty good. The market corrected itself and he got corrected out. All right, let's see what the response. I'm curious to know responses to this. Tall, dark, and handsome says, preach. I have a box truck in Dallas, and this is 100% accurate as today. It's 100% accurate. I have a driver. My only saving grace is I have a fully paid off truck that's reliable. We do routine maintenance like clockwork, man. Margins are very slim. So this guy knows about margins. And getting dedicated work is very difficult. Not impossible, but difficult. It is more difficult today. But then again, it isn't. Credit the guy who left me a message in my one of those videos from the other day where I was saying this in 2022. In the fall of 2022, I started pushing content where I was telling people to get into dedicated shit. Final mile. I know you guys hated final mile then, but I said, look, start signing up for some of these single one-man final mile contracts because it's going to be hard to get these things years later. A guy came and gave me credit for that 2 or 3 days ago because he had been watching the channel. He's seen it come into fruition because now he's trying to transition into something like that and he can't. People that listened to me 3 years ago and transition out of OTR into curbside final mile, they not letting that shit go. It's an easy $750 a day. Start your day around 5, 6 in the morning, done by 12, 1 in the afternoon, and it's dedicated Monday through Friday or Monday through Saturday. Everybody wants to get it now, but those opportunities are scarce now. Nobody wants to do big and bulky because we're living in a society now where no one wants to touch anything. No one wants to work. Even the owner operators that run the spot market over the road, they want no touch freight. So it is more difficult now. So he's not lying on that aspect. And it's not impossible, but it is difficult. I agree. Where I don't agree is where he says preach. He's agreeing with the complaining of the guy above him. Business is not going to be an arrow straight up and to the right throughout the course of your tenure in business. You have to be able to adapt with the times. You have to. You can't complain. You have to adapt. I want to read another one in response because this is a good feed. Yeah, definitely leaning towards no on this business. So now he's leaning towards no because see, they're scaring the shit out of him here. We already got one guy above that said, man, go watch Mark and Vic. All right. You definitely lean towards no on this business. Thanks for the advice, man. They're scaring the shit out of him. They're scaring the shit out of him. All right, let's lead the next one. Opening exercise. Send me a message and ask whatever you like. Somebody mentioned above watch Mark the Mentor. I also agree with that. He is a straightforward and gets out. Second shout out in this feed. So shout out to opening exercise 211. Appreciate that. So 2 people told him to come watch me. Let's read the responses on this one since I got name dropped again. Thanks for the comment. Won't let me DM you. Can you try me? You ignored my comment. Replacement. Let's see. Wasn't ignored. I upvoted. Gathering information. No problem, bro. A lot of people are giving you good info. Pray the best for you. I think a lot of people are discouraging him because they're struggling or they failed. That's what I think. And I think the people that are encouraging him are obviously this guy and the guy above told him to watch me so that he can get the right information, which is what I'm giving right now, and kind of correcting some of these disgruntled, feeds in this forum. All right, I don't understand the appeal of owner-operator box truck. Are you going to just sleep on the seats? No bed, no comfort, no room, way less option on loads. Just get a big rig like every other idiot out there and lease on somewhere. I want to read this one. Yeah, I don't have a CDL and it seems difficult to get good loads. Even if I did get it, little to no experience. Do you suggest a better route is being a company driver for a while than to go owner operator? Did you lease on carrier? What are your netting weekly? Yes, get CDL and experience, but I don't know box truck world unless you want to move furniture that could make good money. So he doesn't know box truck world, but he has common enough sense to know that. And I don't know if he's talking about final mile or just moving, but he has some sense that the harder the niche, right? The harder the labor, the opportunity to make more money. So I give him credit on that. I leased the Landstar, finally got on a good dedicated account, and will next. He put will next, but I think he bet will net 3,000 to 3,200 a week on just 1,500 miles. If I can run more, I will net more. I did find a unicorn, however. Landstar low boards predominantly trash. Good for you, man. Seems it's more difficult than I thought. How long did you take to get the dedicated account? What were you netting the first 1 to 2 years owner operator? I appreciate the insight and time you've taken here. Shout out to Rooted Crypto because he's actually responding to every single person. So, like I said at the beginning, this is a person who wanted the cold hard truth, and it looks like he's really taking this really seriously. Let me make sure. Okay. All right, let's go to the next one. Pristine Julie says, I would say in this market, with all the tariffs, there's going to be a drastic reduction in freight movement. Overseas goods not coming in, more competitive market for whatever has come in, and a lot less cross-border freight. If you are in a border city that usually deals with the automotive industry and machining parts back and forth, sure, there may be a small uptick in MIUSA products, but it won't exceed how the buying market will change for goods affected by the tariffs. I agree with the buying market. Basically, what he's talking about is the consumer buying behavior. Will there be an uptick in people spending money buying goods, right? Right. You need more people to buy things so that retailers can order more, all right, so that there can be more freight to move. Um, in my business, quite a few of my clients are in the trucking business, and a lot of them are hurting badly right now. I would likely steer clear right now. Stockpile cash, and if you really feel the need, I think there will be quite a few trucks coming on the market for a great buy. I think those trucks are already on the market. I think those trucks are already on the market. I don't know what Pristine Jeweler does because he says a few of his clients are in the trucking. Well, he's a jeweler, so a few of his clients are in the trucking business. He said they're hurting badly. Uh, so that's why I think there's the disconnect of why he doesn't understand that these trucks are already on the market. They've been on the market for the past 2 years. People have been the exodus started 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago. I mean, I think it's good advice, but I think there's also opportunity if he did decide to come in right now. Let's see what he responded. Super sound advice. Thank you for the advice. It's much appreciated. Let's go to the next one. I like this thread. Thousands of loads available for drive. Oh, this is a ad. All right, let's see. Da-da-da-da. There's no responses to this one, but I'll read it anyway. I sell for MHC Kenworth and was a technician on these trucks before selling them. I can get you set up right in the price range and give advice. So he's trying to sell. One of my best customer in my area runs box trucks and does very well. He started by leasing 5 at once and then switching to purchasing used trucks. He does last mile delivery and his bank statements are A1. He does very well. So this is believable. Until he said he does final mile, I was a little sketchy. I wouldn't recommend anybody leasing any box trucks at all because I wouldn't want to sign a contract for 3 years for a lease of a box truck. The reason why this guy is probably doing well is because he's doing final mile, so it's dedicated, and as long as he's keeping people in those seats to run those routes daily, then he has guaranteed work. As long as he's keeping people in those seats and he's keeping his claims to a minimum, I can believe he's doing fine. I wouldn't recommend anyone leasing a box truck though. No penalty says start a moving company. Much more lucrative and won't have in Wyoming in the middle of January. Obviously, you know I'm going to agree with him because this is where you're going to really make the bag at. So I have no qualms with what no penalty put in here. Whoever this is, HHHHHGFFV by whatever ever, says don't do it, bro. Hey, ATK Investments. I'll give you a different approach. Wholesale distribution, there are different industries and products to run. I do grocery products. I get right to the territory. All right, this guy's trying to sell them on something else. All right, let's look at this one. Deaf Door, which I think is the last one, says, I bought my brother a box truck 3 months ago on Marketplace, 26-footer with liftgate for $22,000. He's since paid me $26,000 and is making around $14,000 a month profit. Got me thinking about giving up my car lot for it. So he says he loaned his brother 3 months ago $22,000. He paid him back $26,000, and he's profited in 3 months, and he's profiting $14,000 a week. I mean a month. He says, what is he running? What area? Houston, Texas. So he didn't give him what lane he's running. We don't know if he's doing moving. We don't know if he's doing final mile. It's kind of hard to believe he's doing this type of net with the payback, the aggressive payback, With the aggressive payback, I don't think he's doing middle mile. And I'm only basing that with the aggressive payback. If what he's writing is 100% true. All right. So I think this individual got a lot of in this particular thread, because I'm only going to cover this one thread in this episode. I think this guy got a lot of disgruntled responses. I think he got a lot of disgruntled responses, and it looks like he's been completely discouraged from advancing forward into doing it. But a lot of people are hurting, a lot of people are mad, um, and a lot of people still go about doing things the wrong way. I don't understand it. I don't understand it. I think now is a better time than ever if you run lean. If you run lean and you know what your costs are and you understand you need working capital to survive the learning curve. There's people making money, man. There's people absolutely positively making money. All right. Shout out to everybody that's in. Shout out to Boxer Buddha. Boxer Buddha say comfortably, I be comfortable on my seats, laughing but serious, especially after a long day of driving. They need to stop crying. Well, I agree with the crying part. I don't know about the comfortability on the seats now. He said them competing with each other doesn't imply they're bad people. Well, people that feel like a person is undercutting them, when they feel like the person is a bad person because they're undercutting them, it's because they're playing this business game with their emotions instead of logic. A lot of people, as we see, that come into this business, when you give them the cold, hard truth, they get emotional. They don't think with logic, they think with emotion. This is what ultimately escorts them out the business. This is what ultimately escorts them into failure because they think from an emotional perspective instead of a logical perspective. You can't get mad at somebody because they beat you. You're in the game too. You're looking to beat the next person. So you get mad when someone beats you, but when you beat somebody, then it's okay. That's the most asinine shit I ever heard. If you call a broker and you negotiate a higher rate than what's offered, what they were initially offering you, and then they ended up giving you more, it took out of their cut. It reduced their profit margin. If you call a broker and you're negotiating for a load and you get it versus the other people that call that same broker that are negotiating for that load and you take it, you beat them. I mean, this is the name of the game. Like, I don't understand why, whether a person does it profitably or not, this is the nature of how this industry works. It's a market, especially if you're running off a spot market. You're not the only one in the race. You can't take this shit personal. You can't be emotional about it. You have to play this game with logic. And we see 98% of the people, or 90% of the people, I should say, play it with emotions instead of logic. And it's unfortunate. So rivals are usually across the street from each other. Yes, McDonald's and Burger King. I mean, this is America. So it's free market, free enterprise. It's just what it is. You know, Burger King will never beat McDonald's, right? But there are times where someone may be headed to McDonald's and then there's a Burger King across the street. They say, hey, you know what? I want to go for a flame grill burger today. Or, you know what? I got a taste for an apple pie. I like Burger King's apple pie better. So Burger King profits off, I believe, They know they can't beat McDonald's, but I believe they can take some of the foot traffic from some of the people that may have been going to McDonald's. They can cut some of that foot traffic off. I mean, it just is what it is. It's America. It's free market, it's free enterprise. It's just what it is. That sounded like you could have written that last part. I don't know which part you're talking about, but uh, uh, Johnny Bravo said you can't make all the money in the world. You got to be happy with yourself, and that's what I saw in this particular thread. You know, the complaint about the the risk to reward ratio. The more competition, the harder it's going to be for you to make more money. I, I mean, like when we talk about this stuff, I know I've been doing this for content for 3 years, and it's redundant to me because there's always new people coming in. But the more I do it, it amazes me how people that are coming into a business just don't understand that. And then I try to take myself out of myself and be like, well, man, Mark, would you think like that? And I just don't see it. I don't think I could ever be that fickle. Like, man, I mean, it's like it's 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 so cut and dry. The more competition, the lower the rates. The less demand, the more competition, the lower the rates. The more people have to compete for less, it's ultimately gonna be tougher for you. Like I don't understand why people don't understand that, and then why they complain. So if you also have to take yourself out of the equation of just being the owner operator and put yourself in other person's shoes. It's a good exercise for a business person. If you were a shipper and you could take advantage of the way things are right now with low demand and a lot of competition to keep costs down for your customer, would you just proactively offer more money? Of course you wouldn't. Why would you? Why do people feel like people owe them something or they have to be generous? No one has to be anything. No one will be anything. No one's just going to proactively and generously pay you more. If as a shipper I can keep costs down for my buyer who's buying millions and millions and millions and millions of units, knowing that they have to retail those units to a consumer and that they are in competition with other retailers, a part of the cost for the retailer is transportation. If transportation cost goes up, then the shelf price goes up. Now they have to compete harder with the other retailers. If they can keep their costs down and provide the same products that their competition is selling at a lower cost because their transportation cost is lower, which is baked into the cost, why would I voluntarily just pay you more when I know you're going to do it for cheaper anyway? I want the retailer to continuously buy from me at volume. I want the consumer to continuously buy because the price is affordable. If the consumer buys, that means the retailer orders more units. That's how I make money. I don't never look at shit from a personal perspective. I always look at it from a full business perspective. So then that way you know how to play the game on your side. Nobody's gonna give you shit. If I was a shipper and you were gonna run loads for cheaper, and I know I could take advantage of the competitive landscape in this current economy, I'm gonna absolutely 100% do it. Why would I lower my margin to benefit you? And I'm not saying this to be facetious. Some people take this shit and they get mad at me for saying it, but I'm telling you what you don't know. It's just what it is. It's business. It's not personal, and you got to look at everything from all aspects. Said other guy trying to send this business up the road. Shout out to T Beezy. We got two box truck Buddhas in here. We got somebody that looks like they was soliciting earlier. Did y'all? Oh, y'all got rid of them. Ain't no soliciting. No soliciting. All right. Shout out to Thomas Fowler. Is this the same box truck Buddha? Oh, okay. You got a different phone. Your other phone died. All right. All right. When you read that Buddy said fuck it all. Nah, I didn't write. Yeah, I mean shit. You know me, I ain't gonna complain about no shit. So yeah, when you see people writing shit like that, that's just a bunch of complaining, bro. I've had my CDL since 2000. I've changed my mind about starting a cargo van business. So you changed your mind? Change your mind about starting a cargo van business? Why'd you change your mind? Why did you change your mind? You said that the key lime work with the allergies. I guess we're just at a point now where everything is stable. So normally my allergies are bad at the beginning of the spring, like April, and then at the end of the summer, end of September, beginning of October. So I haven't even taken anything in like a month. Everything kind of leveled off right now since the weather's been consistently warm. So, but I'll try it again in the end of September. Dr. Teresa, what happened? Before I get out of here, why'd you change your mind? How long have I been on? 58 minutes. We do an hour. And I gotta make some moves. Why'd you decide against it, Dr. Teresa? While we waiting for Dr. Teresa. Also, you wanted to do the cargo van business as a stream of revenue. Okay. Passive income. All right. Yeah, I think, any form of logistics. And I had a dumbass comment that I could have did for my goofy comment of the week award, but I forgot to load it in. I think in the logistics business, especially with ground, as far as like cargo van business, box truck business, I think if you're gonna do it for passive income, I think one of the main keys to being successful is you have to get out there initially and know what the business entails, which means you have to get on the van or you got to get on the truck and do it yourself. Somebody put in my comments earlier when I was telling the CDL guy video that I put out like 2 days ago. They said, "I don't listen to this guy. If someone quits on you and abandons your truck, you can easily hire somebody to go pick it up." And that was beyond the point. You know what I'm saying? Yes, you can obviously do that, but like who invests into something that they don't understand? Like that's one of the first rules in business. Don't invest into anything that you don't understand. Like why would I go out and buy a piece of equipment that I don't even know how to operate myself? That's just stupid. So if you are too busy, then you probably making the right decision, because I think you would need to go out there and see what the business fully entails. I mean, even if you put a middleman there, how do you know what they're telling you is correct? You won't know. You won't know. People will sell you a bunch of BS, especially when they know that you have no knowledge. And this is how so many people that start, small businesses for passive income get taken advantage of, because they don't know. They don't know when they're being taken advantage of because they've never done it. So, um, yeah, I think ultimately, if you don't have the time, then you're probably making the right decision. All right. All right. So that's episode 1 of reacting to Reddit. There's a lot of shit in Reddit that I see that I'm going to react to, but I'm only going to do one thread a day, or one thread an episode. So appreciate everybody for tuning in. Until next time, peace.